going on, everyone? Let's make sure that audio is working. 1 second. All right, cool. Audio is working. Awesome. So I know nobody's in the chat just yet. Don't know how many people are going to be in this chat, so a lot of people might be watching this later on. But I'm doing this. I was originally doing this last week, but what happened was it was too early in the day, and at the same time, I was doing a reaction to Mortality, and I feel like now that I think it's at 210 views. Now that it's at 210 views, I'm like, if people have questions, I'd be more happy to answer them. And then in addition to that, I can also obviously give everyone updates with the channel. So Connor Holt, what's up, Connor? How are you doing? I don't think I've seen you in the live stream just yet. Movie of the year so far, that would have to go to Green Knight, hands down. Love that film. Loved it so much it actually makes me want to rewatch Ghost Story, which I haven't seen in 4 years. But some updates to the channel. As many of you probably know, I do ranking videos. Still trying to figure out my top 10 romances, top 10 action movies, all those lists. That's honestly the tough part. Top 10 horror films. I'm also planning to do top 10 musicals. And then on a side note, going to try to do top 10 favorite film soundtracks of all time. I feel like that'd be interesting. And at the same time, it's something I haven't done before. I know someone wanted me to do top 10 film scores, and I'm like, oh, man, that'd be tough. That'd be really tough. Top 10 favorite neo-noirs, top 10 favorite science fiction films. These are all things. Oh, yeah, top 10 favorite sports films. These are all things that are still kind of obviously in progress. Before I get to the ranking videos, Connor Holt, for me, it's a tie between In the Heights and The Suicide Squad. I can respect that. Both movies I wasn't the biggest fan of. I enjoyed both for sure, but they just didn't really stick for me. But I definitely get where you're coming from, and I can respect that. I feel like In the Heights, too, ironically enough, didn't really find an audience too much, which I do. Again, I'm not a big fan of the film, but I do think it's a shame because I feel like it's a film that should. Suicide Squad, I kind of figured it wouldn't have a huge audience because it's R-rated, and at the same time, it's not a remake, obviously, but it's for the average person, they're going to be kind of confused. So it's wait, I thought Suicide Squad came out 5 years ago. And it was no, that was the Suicide Squad. So, I'll also be doing top 10 fantasy films of all time. That I'm excited to do. Top 10 gangster films. So these are all lists that are in progress. Still have to film them. Still have to categorize them, work through them and everything. But those are all things. J. Don, Green Knight is my favorite film of the year. Yeah, I love the Green Knight. Glad that's yours too, J-Don. Honestly, the Green Knight, man. Can't stop thinking about it. The imagery. I heard someone say it best. The Green Knight is the fantasy equivalent of Blade Runner 2049. And I'm I could definitely see that. Especially because Blade Runner 2049 is also a film where it's if you were to show the average person at science fiction, their definition would be Star Wars. So it's then when they watch Blade Runner 2049 and they're wait a minute, this is boring and slow. And it's no, it's not. Takes its time for sure, but great film. I wanted to get this out of the way too. So for the director ranking lists, let's see. Most recent one I did was Spike Lee's films. Next up, just so you guys know, next up will be Shane Black. I have that one. It's private right now. Not that long. It's 6 minutes, but it's because he hasn't done that many films. Guillermo del Toro, I will be doing his. Thankfully, I'm actually getting this out before his next film. But it's just bad timing because, if for some reason I didn't know he was doing another movie this year. So if I had known that, I would have waited until after. But whatever, I already filmed it. Christopher McQuarrie will then be after that. I have that one. All of these I have filmed that I'm naming, by the way. After Christopher McQuarrie, Bong Joon-ho, that's right. A lot of you know it. It's been a while. It's been quite some time. I finally watched and rewatched a couple of his films. So that's something that's been 2-3 years in the making. Finally got it. And then Paul Greengrass, his films. Alex Kendrick, which I got to be honest, Alex Kendrick's films, I'm not expecting to get that many views on this one. I'm really not, because he's like a faith-based Christian film director. But I just had to get it out there. And then Baz Luhrmann's is the most recent one I've done. And then I'm also watching Shotgun Stories, so that way I can do Jeff Nichols. And I have some other ones that I'm planning to do, obviously, in the future, and I've been working through. But figured I'd give you guys an update about that. Excuse me. Connor Holt, I had to take a wild guess. Will Return of the King be in the top 10 list of fantasy films? Absolutely. I love Return of the King. Fantasy films are hard because, like, there are some cases where I didn't even really realize that it was fantasy. 100%, which is going to sound weird, but yeah. J Dong, Gaspar Noé ranking maybe. Yes. So I've gotten a lot of people asking about that on Letterboxd and some of my other videos. Gaspar Noé is a film director. I wanted to rank his films. The problem is it's hard to find his films. His first film, I Stand Alone, I have. How do I use the correct words in case anyone's watching, so to speak? I do have a copy of I Stand Alone that I did find, but the movie Loving, I mean not Loving, Love, I think it's called. I haven't been able to track that down. And it's a shame too, because I remember when Climax came out, I remember I was going to watch Love, and it was on Netflix, but I just wasn't really in the mood, even though a Gaspar Noé film, you're not really in the mood per se. But then it went off Netflix, and I just haven't been able to track it down. So I need to watch I Stand Alone. I'm going to try to watch it soon. But then finding Love on websites, it's going to be kind of tough, But I do want to rank his work because I feel like a lot of people seem to really be polarizing with him, and I think he's going to be an interesting director to talk about. I really do. J Dong, I can't tell whether he's genius or pretentious. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, honestly. And I'll say this: with the 3 out of the 5 movies I've seen of his, I've heard some people say that his movies you have to rewatch multiple times, and I can totally respect that because that's kind of like David Lynch's films, or really any director. But for me, his movies, because they're so hard to watch, it's kind of hard to be in that mindset wanting to watch something that hard to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like Enter the Void. Holy cow, that movie was like not monotonous, but it was just a lot. And then Irreversible, man, like the ringing, like the dog whistle here, that whole sound mixing technique, it actually did get to me. Like I wasn't feeling too well with that. Climax is the one that I have rewatched. I saw it a second time, and I liked it a lot better. And I can't stop thinking about it. I really can't. So maybe I'll rewatch his other 2 movies. But yeah, I'm going to try. He's one of those directors. Him and a couple other directors, I still have 2 movies. Like Richard Linklater is another one where it's like it's been 3 years that I've been meaning to watch like all of his movies, and I've seen most of them except 2. So it's just I'm trying to get back on track with that. But it's tough because in addition to obviously doing these ranking videos, which I personally love. I love doing ranking videos. In addition to that, it's also like I want to keep up with the movies that are coming out in 2021. But then I also always feel the urge to film those reviews. And I feel the urge, but then at the same time, I'm like, it is time consuming. So it's like, I don't know. Like part of me almost does kind of want to focus 100% on the ranking videos, but I don't know. I don't know yet, if I'm being honest. That's how it is sometimes on YouTube channels. Like other YouTubers that I talk to, sometimes you just kind of you get that conflict of it's like what people on your channel might want versus like what you want. So, Connor Holt, favorite Kubrick film? Oh boy, that's a really good question. So I do have a ranking list for Kubrick films, and I put The Shining. But if I'm being honest, it could change any day. Like the top 3 for me are The Shining, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Clockwork Orange. But it really depends on any given day. Like there are some days where I'm like 2001: A Space Odyssey, hands down. And then other days Clockwork Orange, and other days The Shining. If I could go back and re-rank that list, it might be 2001: A Space Odyssey, just because I love The Shining. It's a masterpiece. And same with Clockwork Orange. But I feel like 2001: A Space Odyssey has been the one that kind of has been the most beneficial. Because that's been a journey. That movie, I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was boring, and now I just think it's masterful. So, But yeah, Connor, what was your favorite Kubrick film? It's like choosing a favorite kid, honestly. It's kind of hard to choose. Except his first two films, I should say, not his last two, his first two films. Barry Lyndon, I'll say I also grew to appreciate a lot. In fact, Barry Lyndon, I also look at as a masterpiece now. I know I mentioned the ranking list, but there's other thing I want to talk about. So I mentioned Jeff Nichols, James Mangold. I'm also looking to do James Mangold. Is actually a couple people on my channel have actually requested about James Mangold, and I've seen 10 of his 11 films. I still need to watch one more of his films. It's a police film. What's it called? Let me look it up real quick. Make it quick. Copland. I still have to watch Copland. I have to track it down. I think it's on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus though, so. But I still have to watch that, and then I can rank his films. Alexander Payne. I still have to watch Citizen Ruth, and then I can rank his films. Scott Derrickson. I was actually going to watch his Hellraiser movie that he directed, and then rank his films. But then I realized he has a film coming out with Ethan Hawke in January, so I might just wait, honestly. And then I'm trying to work through Steven Soderbergh. I'm trying to work through Clint Eastwood. And those are not easy. Connor Holt. The Shining used to be my favorite Kubrick film for a long time until I watched Barry Lyndon for the first time a couple months ago. Yeah, Barry Lyndon it's great. It really is. Best way of putting it is that Barry Lyndon is a film that it's almost filmed like a painting, where it's like sometimes when you first look at a painting, it's like you see it, you say you appreciate it, but you might think it's boring because there's other options. But you can't help but think about it, though, because at the same time, you think about the artistic and the uniqueness to it. So then you end up coming back to it and you say, wow, now that I don't have all those other options and now I'm just looking at it for what it is, it's amazing. Because I think that with Kubrick, when I was watching that film of his, I don't think I was in the right mindset because I think I might have had other movies to watch too at the time. But it's like when you put 100% of your focus on that movie, it's amazing. And that's what I did. I bought the Criterion. Jay Dong, I'd love to see a Paul Thomas Anderson ranking. I actually have one on the channel. And that really hasn't changed at all. I think it was 2-3 years ago I released it. It's actually, that will be really easy. I mean, obviously I have the ranking list that you can, the ranking playlist. I think there's like, let's see, not counting all the ones that are coming out, like the 6, 7, I think there's like 48, 49. But yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson is actually one of the ones that have gotten me a lot of views. Actually, that one I would say is what's got me a lot of subscribers, because for those of you that are new to the channel, my channel had like 200 subscribers as of 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden it's like almost at 700 now. So it's like just the increase from doing these videos, honestly, it's been amazing. And honestly, it's beneficial because people seem to like it, and I've loved doing this. This is something that I did off to the side, but I just did it just because for my own mental well-being. So then I'll never forget when I released the Tim Burton one, and like people seemed to really dig it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. Like I love doing this. So I just kept on doing it. I'm like, I don't know. It's nice. It feels good. Service Ace of Diamonds. Would you ever play the Sonic the Hedgehog games to get a better understanding of the Sonic movie? Alex, you still got to text me back, bro. To answer your question, probably not. Not a gamer, unfortunately. Never really something that kind of caught my eyes. But like as I always say, Sonic the Hedgehog, the game and the movie, they're two like different things. So that's how I look at it. For the as a movie, it was diverting for sure. I enjoyed it while watching it, but it didn't really stick with me. I mean, I'll definitely see the second one when it comes out, though. They're doing a Mario movie too with Chris Pratt. My name's Mario. We got 3 people. Are we gonna get more? Nobody's asking questions about Mortality. Did all you hack frauds not watch it? Slacking. See, Jay Don, if you're not going to play the games, at least listen to music. The games are pretty bad, but the soundtracks are so good. That's fair. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really listen to video games. Video games, it's like almost, it's almost foreign to me because it's something I never really was interested in when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I had a lot of friends that were gamers, like a lot. And one of them's still one of my best friends. he was always into it, and a lot of my other friends were. It's just something I never really interested. I don't know. I just didn't have the eye coordination for it. In addition to that, I would also get headaches sometimes when I was younger. Don't know how it would be now, but films and TV shows as it is time consuming. So, but maybe I will. Connor Holt, favorite Raimi film? Well, that'd be a spoiler, my friend, because I just watched Drag Me to Hell. So I have 8 out of 14 of his films that I've seen. So I still have 6 more of his films to go. Once I've seen those 6, I'll then do a ranking video. Actually, let me go back. After I watched those 6, and then also after rewatching the Spider-Man trilogy, because I haven't seen the original Spider-Man trilogy in such a long time. And I think I owe it to myself to give, at the very least, Spider-Man 2 a rewatch. Because it's said to be one of the best superhero movies, and it was never really something as a teenager that kind of struck me. I don't know. I was the one that honestly liked the third one when I was a teenager. So, but I was also the same one that liked Transformers during that time period. So bear with me, guys. Service Ace of Dimes. Kudos to the actors and camera folks of Mortality. By the way, would you change anything about the making of the release of the film? Alex Diamond giving an Oscar performance. You were great, man. You were great as Death. Would I change anything about the making or the release of the film? That's a good question. I don't really think so. I think everything was pretty smooth sailing in terms of filming. In terms of the release of the film, I think that maybe I should have marketed it more heavily, because I honestly thought that a lot more people would watch it because it's only 10 minutes. I was not expecting Will Up and Drive to get more views than Mortality. But I think also I just maybe also just should have had people advertise it more, because I can only use so much. I obviously advertise it here and there, but I hope more people watch it because I'm beyond proud of it, and the people who have seen it have really liked it. Though some people haven't. Connor Holt, Spider-Man 2 probably has to be my all-time favorite comic book film. I can respect that. Mine's The Dark Knight, which I know these days sounds cliche, but I love The Dark Knight. I really do. I love the Dark Knight trilogy, honestly. And I'm not a Batman fan, or at least I wasn't until I watched the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, obviously, I am. But growing up, I was always a Superman fan. Was not a fan of Batman. I was like, this guy doesn't even have any powers. But then Christopher Nolan made Batman Begins, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. But, yeah. Yeah, y'all got to check out Mortality. Connor, J-Don, you guys got to check it out. There's a couple people, I don't know if you guys have Letterboxd, but there's a couple people, I think there's 10 people that logged it. There was 2 people. They both weren't a big fan of the movie. I don't know why, though, because it was in Swedish. But I'm at the same time, I'm like, it makes sense because Mortality definitely pays homage to The Seventh Seal. And it's that's a Swedish film. So I don't know. Go down even further. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I'm also doing a Chernobyl podcast. Actually, that I might release today or tomorrow with Dennis Bresniak. He also did a podcast episode for me with the 6 Feet Under. And then him and I also are doing, ironically enough, a podcast on Will Up and Drive, because he watched it and he was like, dude, we should talk about this movie in podcast. So I'll be releasing that. That one's honestly the toughest podcast episode I've done so far. To be fair, it's only been 3. But because I'm incorporating video footage, it's a lot more difficult to incorporate video footage than pictures, obviously, the way I did with Chernobyl and obviously 6 Feet Under. So there's that. And then I'm also going to be filming a review, double-headed review probably, for Cry Macho and Play Bayou. So I'll be talking about those 2 movies fast. Non-spoiler, of course. And then I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I will be releasing the bloopers of Mortality pretty soon. Those, I can't lie, those are hilarious. And then I also have some other videos, movies that turn 10 years old, that I'll be releasing on this channel, such as Shame. Shame turns 10 in December. Hugo, that will be coming out in November. The Skin I Live In, I think, is next month. I'll be releasing that. Take Shelter which less than a week I'll be releasing that. And that honestly, I was able to collaborate with Jacob Martin. Shout out to you, Jacob. I just released Moneyball collaboration with Skynight Gem. Shout out to Sergey. So I'll be releasing that soon. Rango, I was supposed to have it come out in April. No, March. I was supposed to have it come out, but I didn't get a chance to rewatch until recently. So I'll be releasing that soon, and then I'm looking. I think. Oh, there's also. I feel like just for making things easy, I also am going to be releasing some more clips from Willowpin Drive, which I've already released some, but I'll be releasing even more. There's a couple scenes that I'll be releasing, such as, let me get back to it, the crosscut editing scene towards the end of Willowpin Drive. I already released the Captain Howdy scene, and then door-to-door scene I'll be releasing. And then probably what I'll do is I'll also probably release one more. Connor Holt favorite Clint Eastwood movie. It'd be a spoiler. I only say that because I'm planning to rank his films, so I'll save that for that video. But I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna take at least a year. But patience. Yeah, Clint Eastwood's done so many movies. I think he's done like 30 something, and I've seen like 18. Dude, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like his filmography, it's a lot, and it's hard to find some of them too. But yeah, those are all the videos I have set up right now. There are a couple other reviews I'm still planning to film too. Top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. That I'll probably be releasing, filming and then releasing. If you guys are new to the channel, I've done already top 10 TV show premieres and finales. I've done that, so you guys can check that out. And then I'll also be releasing the Leftovers review. I still need to watch season 3, but I'll be releasing that. And then Hannibal, I'll be rewatching. So when I do that, I'll definitely be releasing that. True Detective, I'm also planning to rewatch. And then Sons of Anarchy, hopefully sooner than later, I'll probably finally watch because I've never seen it. But yeah, and then October, obviously, I'll be watching a bunch of horror films. I might actually release a couple of reviews for that. Don't know just yet. But I know October is going to be crazy hectic as it is in terms of new releases. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be beautiful, though. I'm excited. 2-3 people in the group chat. I mean, not group chat, live stream. It is crazy, though. Like, because I remember the beginning of the pandemic, there's so many people that would be in, like, the live stream. And it was, like, during that time period, I think I had, like, 400 subscribers. It's kind of crazy. Connor Holt, for me, $1 Million Baby probably has to be my favorite Eastwood movie. Green Torino is a close second. I can respect that. I love $1 Million Baby. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Gran Torino I like, but I've only seen once, and that was like a little over 7 years ago. I liked it. I've never really had the urge to revisit it. I liked it, though. I liked it enough. I think it was an impressive performance, and, I mean, he does what he does best. It's enjoyable. Sarah Chase Dines, I love the decor in your kitchen, by the way. Oh, thanks, man. Speaking of which, Alex, I got to text you because I'm planning to do a short film, another one, this winter. I was actually talking to my friend Ryan, and we were coming up with the idea and everything. We both hate winter, and I was like, "Yeah, how am I going to find casting crew members that like winter?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, Alex likes winter." So I'll give you more of the details, but I'm pretty excited about the concept and everything. It's something I've been kind of thinking about. I wasn't really sure how to execute it 100%, but now that I do, now that I wrote down the script and everything, I'm excited. So it will probably be the same thing as Mortality, like 10, 15 minutes long, not that long. So it will probably be, not as long as like Willowpin Drive. It's like a year almost. Obviously shooting in 4K, 30 frames per second and everything. Excuse me. Nobody else? Where's everyone at? be fair, it's 4:18 Eastern time. So everyone's probably getting ready for dinner, getting some hoagies or something. I don't know. I don't know what people do. Let me get that set up. Let me go back. Interesting. Something else I was going to say. Let me say that and I forget what I was going to say. Excuse me. J Don, what are movies you know are bad but you enjoy regardless? Ooh, that's a good question, J Don. That's a tough question, and honestly, I had been asked that in a previous live stream, and I really wasn't able to give like an honest answer because there are some films out there that are considered bad that like I genuinely don't think are bad. Like The Lone Ranger, I do not think The Lone Ranger is bad. I genuinely believe that that's a good film, no question about it. But I would say if I had to do some deep diving, I would say probably Robin Hood 2018, not the 2010 one. The 2010 one has mixed reviews, but I actually really like that. But I know Robin Hood 2018, I know a lot of people don't like it. And I see why. It does feel like a remake of like Batman Begins, but in medieval times. And there are a lot of things that aren't consistent for that time period and feel very modern. But there's just something about it. Like I do think that the filmmaking is pretty nifty. Like I do like the camera work. I like the actors. I like the cast. I like the score. Even though the score is a tempo score and it's like the very definition of what I don't like in film scores. Like I don't like it when a film score is using tempo music, but this movie does. But like it still sounds good. It's very frustrating. It is frustrating, but like I enjoy it. I own it on 4K. I got it for $8 on 4K, but it's enjoyable. What are some for you though? I'm trying to think. Maybe Death Wish. The new Death Wish I actually liked. I actually liked more than the original. I didn't like the original. Nah, yeah. I think that's probably about it. As many of my friends will tell you, if I like something, I'm a defender of it. Jay Don, everyone hates Last Jedi, but it's my favorite Star Wars movie. I can respect that. I didn't like The Last Jedi. In fact, I was very frustrated after watching it. I really did not like it in theaters. But I will say, in retrospect, it's the one that actually at least tried. I do think that there are quite a bit of issues with the movie, but at least tried. You know, I feel like Force Awakens, it was like, okay, we're just going to remake New Hope. And then I don't know what Rise of Skywalker was. I do not know what that is. But audiences seem to like it as like, what, a 90% from audiences. I don't get it. But at the same time, like Star Wars, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I watch them, but I'm not like, jerking off to them or anything. I don't know. But Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson, I'm a big fan of. So it's like he had that flair. It's very beautiful in terms of the way it's shot. And I do also think that Luke Skywalker's actual arc in that movie is quite interesting. Jacob Stanfield, hey, Jacob, Review 71 here. What do you think of the casting for the new Mario movie? Hey, dude, your comments are always hilarious on Letterboxd. Never stop. I love it. To answer your question, I don't really care about Mario. I really don't. Like I was telling some of the other ones earlier, like that are in the chat. I didn't grow up with video games. I don't play video games now. I don't really have any interest in video games. I respect it as an art form, but it's just not really something that's for me. So like when I heard everyone freaking out that Chris Pratt was Mario, I was like, okay. That was my reaction. It was just like, okay. But also I'm at this type of stage in my life there where I'm like, I don't need to constantly be told the cast of movies and everything. I don't need to constantly be told and spoiled things left and right. Like that's why like That's why I really do think that Marvel, if they honestly did market things to where they didn't spoil things, I feel like it would be a lot more enjoyable for myself. But like, I hate it when it's like a Marvel movie drops, like a trailer, and then all of a sudden everyone's trying to pick it apart and edit all these like spoilers, and it's like, why don't you just wait until the movie comes out? Like, I'm sorry, but like that new Spider-Man trailer, like it spoiled all these things. Where I was like, wouldn't it be nice if we actually found this out when we watched the movie and not a 2 minute, actually no, almost a 4 minute trailer. Anyways, I apologize. I'm using YouTube as a soapbox now. Let me see. Connor Hall. Oh, I know what Rise of Skywalker was. It was a complete mess. Yeah. I did not like that movie. I'd rather watch Cats again, and I hate Cats. Jay Don, Seth Rogen as a gorilla. Oh gosh. Yeah, he's going like pass the bomb. Jacob Stanfield, I find it hilarious. LOL. Yeah, I don't know. It annoys me. Again, our obsession with mainstream casting and everything. It's like, guys, just watch the movie. That's why I love A24 films. They drop a trailer like 2 months before the movie comes out. I end up watching half the trailer, usually not even the full trailer. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. And then I just wait until the movie comes out. And I end up having my expectations not below or not exceeded. It's like, I don't know what to expect, so I'll just watch it. That's why, and I know it can be kind of annoying. Like, if you guys watch my reviews, I know it can be kind of annoying where it's like, I'm like, I didn't know what this movie was about going into it, so I'm not going to say the premise, because I know so many YouTubers that will give you guys a step-by-step of the premise, and I'm like, that's just annoying. And if I watch a review, I don't want to hear the premise. It's like, just tell me what you like and don't. And that's just kind of what I do. Jay Don, F9 trailer is probably the worst trailer I've ever seen. Yo, that trailer was bad. I saw that trailer many times because, I go to the movies all the time. And watching that trailer, I was like, are you serious? But that's just a Universal thing. Universal does that. They spoil movies all the time. A lot of big studios do that. It's frustrating. But then you have the opposite of the spectrum. You have an A24 company or Neon, where it's like, they'll market a certain way so that way they get people into the theater. But then there's people who are just like, that wasn't that genre, so I didn't like it. F Cinema Score. And it's like, yeah, but like, was it a good film? No, it wasn't. It wasn't horror. Okay, whatever. So you're not going to be able to please people. Like that movie Lamb that's coming out, that's an A24 film. There's no way mainstream audiences are going to dig it. It's being marketed as like a horror film. It's not. It's probably a slow burn drama, but it's probably going to be really good. Jadon, I was in the theater during the climax, and I was just thinking the trailer already showed me this entire scene. Yes, it's bad. It's gotten bad with trailers. Trailers really are ruining movies, and I get it. Trailers are an art form in itself, but it's also frustrating when you have everything spoiled for you, because then it's like, what's the point of watching the movie? What's the point of watching a 3-hour movie if you're going to break it down into 2.5 minutes, and then you just watch Screen Rant saying like 10 things you might have missed about this movie. And it's like, oh gosh, I don't get it. I really don't. And that's why I don't do trailer reaction videos. I don't. The last time I did them was like 6 years ago, the very beginning of my channel. And I didn't even have it where I would like show footage of like the trailers or anything. I would just tell people my thoughts on like what I liked about what I didn't. But what I'm trying to say is, it's like, guys, take risks. Go into a movie. Try not to watch trailers. You'll find yourself to be benefiting. Jacob Stanfield, usually when a trailer markets a film as an action film or a horror movie, it lures in people who the movie isn't made for and please them. Yeah, it was off their list isn't of what. Sorry, my eyes. When there isn't any of what they're expecting. Wow, I lost it. I'm sorry about that, Jacob. My apologies. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, I know that for everyone else, me reading that and literally butchering it, I apologize, everyone. But yeah, you're not wrong, Jacob. I mean, that's very accurate, because a lot of people, like when Drive came out, I'll never forget that. I remember Drive coming out, and it was like people were talking about like the advertisement, how it looked like it was a Fast and Furious movie. And it's not. It's an art house, slow burn thriller drama that almost is like a superhero movie. It's not. But you could almost argue that it has archetypes of that. But again, with slow bursts of violence and then just quickly going back to it. So I get what you're saying, and I feel like a lot of people, if they don't get what they're being advertised, then it's like it's game over. Not the case for me though. Like a movie like I'm trying to think from this year. Oh, Wrath of Man. Wrath of Man's a good case of like I didn't know what the movie was going into it. I think I might have seen the trailer once, but I saw Wrath of Man and I was pleasantly surprised. And then I watched the trailer and everything, and it's like, okay, people are being advertised like a heavy action film, not a moody, heist movie that does have spurts of action. And I'm like, Guy Ritchie literally used Jason Statham to get people in the seats and watch a film that has like a Joker-esque score and like actually, more meat to like a film than like Guy Ritchie usually does. Also, Guy Ritchie, I got to give him props for that movie. I know I'm talking about Wrath of Man, but I think that if you haven't seen it, everyone, you guys should check it out. Wrath of Man's a movie that like it has shots that actually last longer than 2 seconds. There's a long take, for crying out loud. And a Guy Ritchie movie. Like, if you guys have seen his movies, that's like unheard of. So I just got to give him props. Connor Holt, A Boromir Sacrifice and Fellowship is one of the greatest cinematic moments in fantasy history, in my opinion. Am I right? Well, you answered your own question, Connor. It's your opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. That's the great thing about film and TV shows. There's no right or wrong. You're going to have some people that are going to love a scene or like hate a scene, especially as Jacob was mentioning about like movies that are marketed a certain way. I personally do agree Boromir Sacrifice is amazing, but don't let anyone tell you your opinion's wrong at all. Like it's a very, very good scene in fantasy history. Honestly, just history in general. So I definitely agree with you. J Don, what's your opinion on Aronofsky's mother? Ooh, don't know, J Don, how long you've been subscribed to me on the channel. I do have a review for that, but reason why I say I don't know how long you've been subscribed to me on this channel, but I say that because I grew up in a very religious household. So it was interesting watching Mother like 10 minutes in and being able to pick up on all the biblical symbolism and everything. I love the movie personally. I do. But I understand why some people don't like it because it was marketed a certain way. And I know Aronofsky's strange. I know his movies are not for everyone at all. But I do think that people either write it off as pretentious or they write it off because it wasn't horror in their eyes. So I really like it, though. I do. Not my favorite Aronofsky movie. I would still probably have to be Requiem for a Dream. I've seen Requiem for a Dream way too many times, and I picked it up on 4K like less than a year ago. And I'll be watching it many more times, and I sound so messed up for saying that movie I watched so many times, but I love it. I really do. Jacob Stanfield, another thing that happens is they will often advertise an actor being in the movie for way shorter than expected. People are going to be unhappy when Jason Momoa only has 5 minutes in Dune. Yeah, I know, right? That's the thing. People need to stop just taking things like on a surface level kind of thing. Like, I know nothing about Dune. My fiance read the book. All I know is that it's supposed to be like a science fiction Game of Thrones. That's what she kind of pitched it to me as. And I'm not expecting like everything about Game of Thrones to be in Dune, but I just know I'm in for a good film because it's Denis Villeneuve. So I don't know anything about it. I think I might have seen the trailer once or twice. I was like, yo, this looks cool. I did listen to the score. I'm not going to lie. I did listen to the score. And I think that Hans Zimmer's score on its own, it's not amazing. I wasn't blown away by it, but that's just listening to it by itself. I'm sure in the movie itself, combined with the usual amazing sound mixing that Denis Villeneuve's films have, I'm sure it'll be great. But I agree with you, Jacob. As long-winded as I sounded, I agree with you. Because that does happen. There's another really good example of that recently, I feel like. Oh, Brendan Fraser in the new Soderbergh film. Oh, what was it called? Now it's gonna bug me. I liked that new Soderbergh film too. What was it called? Gosh, what was it called? Sorry, guys. Let me just check my list. No Sudden Move. Yeah, No Sudden Move. I felt like it was kind of advertised when I actually watched the trailer after I saw the movie. It was advertised. I had Brendan Fraser in a lot, and Brendan Fraser was not in it that much. Although it could be, it took me a little bit to realize it was Brendan Fraser, but still. Connor Holt, speaking of Jason Momoa, Aquaman might have to be a guilty pleasure film for me. I can respect that. I don't think Aquaman's bad per se. I just think that it's very it's like Top Gun. It's not bad. It has enjoyability to it, but it's just not a movie that I really see myself rewatching. Like I saw Aquaman in theaters. What was it? 3 years ago. Haven't had the urge to rewatch it, but that's just how it is with some films. Sometimes I watch it in theaters. I enjoy it. I just never really have the urge to come back to it. And that's why some films, it's like nearly a decade where I finally revisit it because I'm like, oh, now I have the urge. J. John, I feel the same way. I love Aquaman. It's so intentionally hilarious. It's definitely over the top from what I remember. I don't really remember too much. I just remember, I remember there being a really cool scene involving like the tower, like this, I think the city, and there was like a cool long take. I don't really remember too much about the movie. Patrick Wilson, I like, of course. I remember it being very similar to Black Panther. I could be wrong, but I remember it being very similar. And I was like, isn't this? I was like, oh, okay. DC's trying to copy another. Okay, cool. I like DC movies, but I just call it as I see it. But again, that's just from what I remember. It's been a while. Ooh, we got 5 people in the chat. Awesome. Has anyone, by the way, I know I said it earlier, but has anyone seen Mortality yet? I don't think Jacob, I don't think you've seen it because I know you usually use Letterboxd. Connor, I think I'm following you on Letterboxd. J-Don, I actually don't know. But I would definitely recommend you guys check it out if you guys haven't done so. I have such a difficult time keeping up with Letterboxd. Not necessarily with reviews that I do, but like with what people watch, because you have to almost be on the app all the time in order to try to read people's reviews and everything. At least from my experience. I could be wrong though. So just going down the list. Connor Holt. I honestly kind of liked Aquaman more than Black Panther, to be honest. Ooh, dang. I would say that's a hot take. I do know a lot of people that would definitely agree with you on that. I can't lie. I do like Black Panther much more. Black Panther I've seen, I think 3 times. Yeah, 3 times now. I like Black Panther. Aquaman I only saw 1 time. Black Panther, I think, though, has an edge up because Aquaman had a pretty forgettable score. The cinematography had some cool moments here and there, but there just wasn't really that kind of stuck out for me. I'm someone that loves cinematography. I love scores. So it's like one of those things where it's like if a movie has great filmmaking in those aspects, it has a leg up on a movie like Aquaman, which has a score that I don't remember. I think it was Joseph Bashir. I don't remember who did the score, but it just didn't really stick with me. And then again, visually, just didn't really do much for me. But it's not to say I don't pay attention to other aspects. I don't want you guys thinking that. But that's why if you guys read my reviews on Letterboxd, you'll notice that the first thing I talk about is usually cinematography or score. It's because it's like the first thing that catches my eye, so to speak, or ears. J. Dong, Black Panther was really boring for me. Oh dang! All the hate for Black Panther. Dang. I like Black Panther, and I'm saying that as someone that does not really like Disney movies too often. A lot of them usually just feel kind of like bland or uninteresting, but I don't know. I thought that it was very interesting visually. I will say that the third act, the CGI was a bit much, but I also know the behind the scenes. Like I follow Corridor Crew, and they had one of the people that was working on that set, and they even mentioned they were like, yeah, we only had like a couple weeks to work on special effects, and it's like it kind of shows, but it's also a shame because it's like wow, so you had everyone pretty much go from Black Panther to an Infinity War because it was like, oh, we know 100% Infinity War is going to do well. We don't 100% know if Black Panther will. So I think it's a shame personally because besides that, I do like everything about the movie pretty much. There are some jokes here and there that I thought kind of fell flat, but for the most part, I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it enough. Connor Holt, I think on a technological level, Aquaman was absolutely great. I can respect that. It's not a bad movie by any means. I think I do have a review on the channel. It's not bad by any means. It's just a movie that didn't really stick with me, unfortunately. Connor, do you have Letterboxd? Like I said, I know. Oh, actually, J Dong too. I should say. Do you guys have Letterboxd? Actually, yeah, I do have my Letterboxd in the description, so you guys can always send me like follow requests if you guys are interested. I don't know if Jacob Stanfield's still in it, but he also is. He also has one. His reviews are hilarious. Jacob Stanfield, Aquaman breaks the rating scale. Oh man, I'm weird with the DCU. Like I know it's hot takes for me to say, but like I think Batman v Superman's better than Aquaman. I like Batman v Superman. Extended cut. J Don, I don't have Letterboxd, but I'm thinking about yo, you should get one. Letterboxd is great. It's not only brings people together in terms of people that also like movies, but you can log movies so you can like keep track of when you see it. Like if you're talking with a friend and a friend's like, "Oh yeah, we saw this movie 2 years ago," and it's like, "No, it was 3 years ago," and you guys are like bickering. You can literally then go back and see like when you logged, and it's like, "Oh, I logged this for this day. Oh wow," and then you won an argument. Not saying that's why you should do it necessarily, but it is cool keeping track of everything. There is, I will say this, and Jacob can attest to this. There is an interesting kind of dynamic though on Letterboxd. You have the people that either love every single movie and give every single movie a 5 out of 5, or you have the people that feel the need to give movies like really, really low ratings just because they're highly rated. And I feel like both are kind of, to me, I don't want to say toxic, but kind of like annoying because it's like, dude, you're just giving a movie a half a star just because it's popular and you didn't even finish the movie. Like, really? There were people out there like that. And then there are also people that they don't even use the half a stars. Like, you can do like 3.5 out of 5, but there are some people that literally just use like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can respect that, but I feel like if you have the opportunity to give movies like those 0.5s, I think that you should. But that's just me personally. I think either way, Letterboxd is interesting. It's nice. I see a lot of people comment on each other's reviews and everything. I think it's very nice. For me, I have close to 300 followers, so not too much, but I do have some people that do comment, and it's nice because it is one of those things where for myself, I have a difficult time keeping up with commenting on people's reviews and everything, but I do try because, again, it's one of those things that is, again, you're part of a community that's nice. Jade on Batman v Superman has so many interesting themes and ideas, but it suffers from Snyder's infamous slow pacing. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't think Batman v Superman was slow. I thought that it was a movie that honestly, when it was slow and it took its time, I thought that was when it was more fascinating. Not gonna lie. Like, I think the first half of Batman v Superman is much stronger than the second half. But I still like the second half. But I do think that it kind of falls into that superhero genre act 3 CGI porn fest. But it happens. Let's see, Jacob Stanfield. The accounts I can't stand are the ones that go from giving a movie a 9 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. Oh my goodness. Yeah, dude, it is annoying. Like, and it's happened to me before too. Like, where I've actually gotten to witness that, because I would see some people kind of like rate one of my movies like 4 out of 5 or like 3 out of 5, and then they just like drop it. I'm like, what? And there was one person that I know, he like gave one of my reviews. I mean, not one of my reviews. One of my movies, like The Heart. Then he got rid of The Heart, and I was like, what? And again, it was just The Heart. Then there are the other people where it's like, they just will backtrack all their opinions and almost like retroactively change it. I try not to do that, but there are some times where I do knock something down like half a star just when I marinate on it, but it's nothing drastic like that. But I agree with you. Connor Holt, you just got a new follower on Letterboxd. Oh, let me check my phone. Con Mans. That's why I was notified. Awesome. Just started following you, man. Everyone, go follow. Let me see. Con Mans. Dude, that's awesome. I post a lot, so bear with me on that. I do post a lot. I try to watch a movie a day, sometimes maybe more. Usually the weekends I watch more. Recently, Jacob, I forgot to mention your review, by the way, hilarious, for God's Not Dead. I actually watched God's Not Dead, and Yeah, that might be the worst movie of the decade of the 2010s. I've always said Transformers 4, but I genuinely do think that might have been. Yeah. Um, Jacob Stanfield, rating droppers as I like to call them. Oh yeah, and then Connell. Jacob Stanfield, like I can understand going from a 10 to 8 or 7.5, but yeah, I like to follow people whose opinions are consistent. Yeah, man. I mean, that's one of the things. Like for me, it takes a lot for a movie to get like a low rating, and even if a movie gets like a 2 or 2.5 out of 5, I try to give both the positives and negatives because at the end of the day, it was made by someone, and that someone obviously has like a vision and everything. It's like might not have worked, but might work for other people, and it's like that's why I always say like, what I was saying. I think it was to, yeah, I think it was kind of Holt. I was saying it to when someone states an opinion, especially when it's dealing with an art form, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like if you think. Like if you thought a Suicide Squad, the one that came out 5 years ago, if you thought it was a masterpiece, it's like, oh, that's cool for you. It's like that's good. But for myself, I'm like, I hated it. There's no right or wrong. I feel like a lot of people are kind of missing that there is a middle ground with things, and I feel like a lot of people are just kind of missing out on that. And on Letterboxd, that does happen. One of my good friends, he had it where every single movie he would only watch movies that he knew he was going to like, and because of that, 96% of his movies, I think, are movies that he did genuinely love. And so there was no groundwork where it was like, oh, he would watch something and then he ended up not liking it. I think it's important, honestly, to watch movies that you might not necessarily like or to go out of your comfort zone. Because think about it. If you were just watching masterpieces, you're not going to really understand watching a movie that's bad. What makes the difference is I kind of feel like, at least, because you can tell right away when you're watching a good movie, almost. Not necessarily saying that, like, 10 minutes into a movie, it's going to say what the whole 2-hour movie is. But there are directors where it's like, as soon as the movie begins, you're hooked. And there are other movies, the bad movies, where it's like, it's painful to get through. And it's like, right from the beginning, you're like, oh, no. And that's why I say, though, you should watch those bad movies, too, because it does make you appreciate the good films more so. And that's what I look at it, at least. That's just me personally. Let's see. Jacob Stanfield, I made my parents watch Catwoman, so I know what you mean. Well, yeah, and you watched God's Not Dead, dude. I've seen the entire trilogy, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm at like what people would call conflict of views because I saw the third God's Not Dead in theaters. Was it 3 years ago? And that was like a living hell. But I hadn't seen the first or second one. So I finally watched first and second this past week. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Especially because the fourth one's in theaters. And the fourth one's in theaters, and I have AMC A-List. It's only in theaters for 4 days. A-List is not taking care of it. And AMC Stubs isn't as well. So I'm like, am I going to spend $12.50 to watch this movie and support a movie that could potentially get a God's Not Dead 5? Or do I wait until it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, which could be a good while, and kind of lose the potential of watching a movie and have an experience that is probably painful? So I don't know. I'm conflicted. But I understand you probably know best because I know you've seen, obviously, God's Not Dead. Connor Holt, my favorite religious movie ever is Monty Python, Life of Brian. Bro. Yeah, Life of Brian, I need to rewatch. I remember liking it, but it's been 5-6 years. I want to say 6 years though. It's been a while. I do need to revisit it. It's on Netflix now. I should revisit it. Jacob Stanfield just pirated it. LOL. It's a good point. To be honest though, I used to do a bunch of that. I don't really do it too much now. But at the same time, doing these director ranking lists, I hate to say it, but you kind of almost have to because there are a lot of directors where it's like their early films, it's nearly impossible to find. Nearly impossible. And so I either have to say to myself, okay, try to be Mr. Robot and track these down, or literally just give a caveat to people that are going to be watching and saying, hey, I haven't seen all of them, but that's only because I couldn't find these couple. That's just kind of how it is, though. Like, and now I try to always, not pirate, but right now I have my other laptop off to the side, and I'm trying to do so with Steven Soderbergh movies because he has a bunch that are just hard to find, very hard to find. It's frustrating, honestly. And I guess that's why some people do like top 10, where it's like, oh, this director's done 30 something. Oh, let's just do a top 10. So that way you don't have to watch all of them. But for myself, I kind of like to watch all of them. So that way I have an idea on the director. But that's just me. Oh, God's Not Dead 4. Oh, gosh. And if I see it, it'll literally be the day before I see No Time to Die. Irony, right? Oh gosh, oh man, I can't. Just even thinking about watching God's Not Dead 4. But like, I know it's going to be an experience because I'm sure there's going to be like a bunch of anti-vaxxers and like, oh gosh, I think I might do it. I might say screw it because I know it's going to be a good experience. Not a good experience, but it'll be interesting. Jacob Stanfield, Steven Soderbergh's filmography is massive, so I don't blame you. Yeah, dude, it really is. Oh, Jacob, did you see Mortality? I forgot to ask you. I know, I don't think I saw you log it on Letterboxd, but I wanted to hear your thoughts and if you had seen it. So, yeah, that dropped last week. Wow, so it's already been out a week. Jacob Stanfield. Oh, yeah, I did. What'd you think, man? Did you like it? Curious. Just noticed. It took me a minute, but I just noticed you said, oh, yeah, I did. I like that. Jacob Stanfield. Oh, Larry Gothic. Thanks, man. To be honest, I'm very proud of Mortality because I wanted to do a film about religion, religion, faith, but like have it where it's like up to the viewers to decide like their interpretation. Because obviously I have my things that I was going for, but I am proud of it, dude. It was also refreshing because like Will Up and Drive took so much out of me, acting in addition to all the other stuff that I had to do. So it was nice being able to just say, okay, just focus on directing and cinematography and editing. It was nice. Oh, Connor Holt, message retracted. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you watched it, Jacob. I really am. I liked your review for Will Up and Drive. You have the best reviews, man. What was your favorite scene, Jacob? I forgot to ask you that. I try to ask people that just so I get an idea on like what their vibes were. Connor Holt, is there such a thing as a better motion capture actor than Danny Serkis? It's a good question. I feel like as of right now, no, but I feel like maybe down the line. But either way, he'll always be looked at as the person that kind of pioneered it. Jacob Stanfield. So have you seen the film Wake and Fright? No, I haven't. Let me look that up right now on Letterboxd. Wake and Fright. (1971) film or 2017 film? Yeah, 'cause there's a 71 version. I mean, 71 film, and then there's the other one. Hmm. 71. Okay. Yeah, I do see it. Looks like you logged it. One of my other friends saw it too, and it looks like he didn't even. He always gives like out of 5 stars, and looks like he did not like it. Huh. Interesting. Animal cruelty. Oh gosh, this is gonna be a Cannibal Holocaust, where I have it on my watch list for years. I still have to watch Cannibal Holocaust. Kind of hold. I had to remove a message because I spelled actor wrong. It's all good, man. It's all good. We're all friends here. The movie does sound interesting, though, Jacob. Animal cruelty is hard to watch, though, in movies. Like Apocalypse Now, I can only imagine this movie that you just recommended. Like Waking Fright. There's not too many people that I follow that have seen it, so it must be kind of like obscure, which is awesome. Let me see where it's on. Do you know like where I can watch it on? Tubia? So Tubia TV? Interesting. 71. Holy cow. 70s were great, man. They really were. Amazing film, especially for horror. Excuse me. So I'll probably be wrapping things up pretty soon. Any other questions though? Like I know Jacob, you would see Mortality, but like any questions about Mortality? Just curious. Let's see. Beacon Front. Interesting. I was just reading some stuff on Letterboxd real quick. I have a couple friends on Letterboxd that have found The Alamo, the remake, out time. That's a movie I want to talk about on my channel. All right, does anyone have any questions about Mortality? Next short film? I always get tired around this time of day. Jacob Stanfield. So, question: who do you think are some of the most underrated actors? It's a good question. I think one of them would be Michael Shannon. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know he's gotten some Oscar attention, like nomination wise, but I think he doesn't get enough credit. Trying to think who else. I think it's nice to see Kate Winslet now get more attention. I feel like she's really only known for Titanic, but like there's a lot more to her, which is why I think that she's underrated because there's a lot of her work that's amazing that people just aren't really aware of. Trying to think who else. Modernly, yeah, there's ones that off the top of my head. Connor Holt. I decided to rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and Two Towers might have to be my favorite of the Middle Earth trilogy, to be honest. I can respect that. I think for me, it's probably the third one, but I do love the second one too. True Stanford, I would say Patty Constantine would be my number one choice. I think. Let me see. That name sounds very familiar. Off the top of my mind. Let me see. I think I know. Oh, yep. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like this actor. He's in Cornetto trilogy. He's in what's it called? The Outside. Excuse me, The Outsider. Yeah, he's good. He's a good actor. Cinderella Man. Excuse me. Sorry about that, everyone. All right, guys. I think I'm just gonna wrap things up. But I want to say, everyone, thanks again for watching. And if you guys are watching a lot, well, if you guys are watching the video that isn't live stream anymore, check out Mortality. If you haven't done so already. And if you liked it, or if you didn't, but preferably if you liked it, log it on Letterboxd. Then obviously, like I said, I'll be releasing a new movie soon. Probably in the next 6 months or so. We'll see when it gets made. But yeah. Again, guys, thank you very much for watching. And again, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.